Donald Trump just threw more tariffs on China. And China has responded and pretty much letting the U.S. know get ready for higher prices. If new tariffs hit goods from China, retailers warn. And the last time the trade war went real big last year, it actually caused a deficit in the U.S. It became more of a burden on the economy, not a help. I have this audio that I'm going to play for you from NPR.
Higher prices will be coming to stores this fall if President Trump follows through with his threat to slap new tariffs on Chinese imports. That's according to retailers, who warn the tariffs would apply to a broad swath of consumer items, from electronics to tennis shoes. Rising trade tensions with China prompted another sell-off on Wall Street today, where the Dow Jones Industrial Average fell nearly 100 points. NPR's Scott Horsley has more.
More than 40% of all the clothes sold in the United States are made in China. China also makes nearly 70% of all the shoes sold here and 88% of the toys. These items have been largely untouched by the tariffs President Trump has already imposed on China over the last year. But trade analyst Chad Bown of the Peterson Institute for International Economics says they'll almost certainly be on the target list if the president makes good on his threat to impose new tariffs September 1st.
What really does set this list of products apart from all of the earlier tariffs are it's basically consumer goods, clothing and toys, iPhones. All of that stuff has been shielded so far, and that's what's likely on the list this time around.
Senior Vice President David French of the National Retail Federation says at first some store owners might try to absorb the cost of the tariffs to keep customers happy. But ultimately, he says those import taxes will show up in the prices people pay at the cash register.
All of this is just going to add up, and at some point, whether it's this holiday season or sometime next year, the full pain is going to come home to roost.
The administration downplays those warnings. White House economic advisor Larry Kudlow insists the trade war is costing China more than it is the U.S.
Any consumer impact is very, very small, minuscule. By the way, consumer spending and consumer wages and salaries are all booming.
Consumer spending, which accounts for more than two-thirds of the economy, has been strong, but the trade war is taking a toll. While unemployment is a low 3.7%, the Labor Department said today hiring has downshifted, with employers adding about 140,000 jobs in each of the last 3 months, down from about 233,000 in the final months of last year. Imports from China fell 12% in the first half of the year, but exports to China fell even further, 18%. Bound says China has not only imposed retaliatory tariffs on U.S. exports, but it's relaxed tariffs on competing products from other countries.
That puts American exporters at a disadvantage. They're getting hurt twice by the retaliatory tariffs, and now they're having an even more difficult time competing in the Chinese market.
Farmers and ranchers have been particularly hard hit by the president's trade battles, as other countries have targeted farm goods in an effort to score political points here in the U.S. Cattle ranchers did get some relief today, though, an agreement making it easier to export American beef to Europe. Trump announced the deal at the White House, surrounded by ranchers in broad-brimmed hats.
This is a tremendous victory for American farmers, ranchers, and of course European consumers, because American beef is considered the best in the world.
The deal with Europe applies a thick stake to the black eye U.S. exporters have been nursing for the last year, but Trump still seems more interested in erecting new trade barriers than knocking down old ones. As he left the signing ceremony, the president couldn't resist joking about imposing a new 25% tariff on imported Mercedes and BMWs. At least the president said he was joking. Scott Horsley, NPR News, Washington.
Well, ladies and gentlemen,
In and around the rural north.
he has already put some tariffs out there, and it is impacting the stock market, and eventually it's going to trickle down to the economy. A lot of people are anticipating higher prices out in the markets by fall. We're going to be paying a lot more. Trump is going to continue this trade war. It doesn't matter if China and the US have backed off by now. He is the one that mainly continues to kick these trade wars up. And you saw how much comes from China. When you listen to the NPR audio, more than 40% of all the clothing sold in the US are made in China, as are nearly 70% of the shoes and 88% of the toys. Wow. Wow. But see, this is the result of them sending all these jobs overseas to China. So these items have been largely untouched by tariffs the president has already imposed on China over the past year, but they'll almost certainly be on the target list if additional tariffs are imposed September 1st. And you can best believe they are going to be imposed. You know, all I can say is, be prepared for anything with this trade war going on, but mostly be prepared for higher prices in the stores, especially in retail. Even they are anticipating spending more money just to have the goods sent to the stores from China. And of course, they're going to pass that cost on to the consumer. So, China has not only imposed retaliatory tariffs on U.S. exports, but it has also relaxed tariffs on competing products from other countries. That puts American exporters at a disadvantage. They're getting hurt twice by the retaliatory tariffs, and now they're having an even more difficult time competing in the Chinese market with their European, Canadian, Japanese competitors. Farmers and ranchers have been particularly hit hard by the president's trade battles as other countries have targeted farm goods in an effort to score political points here in the U.S. Cattle ranchers got some relief on Friday with an agreement to allow more American beef to be sold duty free in Europe. But farmers definitely have taken a huge hit. China used to get all of their soybeans and a lot of corn from the US. They now get it from South America because of the trade war. And they have not come back to buy from these farmers either. So, ladies and gentlemen, we shall see what happens. The deal with Europe applies thick steak to the black eye that U.S. exporters have been nursing for the past year, but Trump still seems more interested in erecting new trade barriers than knocking down old ones. As he left the signing ceremony, the president couldn't resist joking about imposing a new 25% tariff on imported Mercedes and BMWs. At least Trump said he was joking. Yeah, we'll see how long that lasts. But nevertheless, ladies and gentlemen, tell me what you think. This trade war has not turned out to be a good thing for America at all. It's hitting both the business sector and also the consumers, especially with prices going up for all of these goods. So, I guess the only one happy in this whole thing is Trump. But please tell me what you think. I just don't see this being a good thing. But you may see it differently. Our people are going to be out here buying this stuff even if it goes up. I mean, let's be real here. People will complain, but they'll continue to buy. Me, I love online shopping, y'all. I really do. And that's what I'm going to continue to do, no matter what trade war Trump has going on. Please leave your comment and subscribe. Don't forget to hit on the notification bell, and I'll see you on the next video. Peace, family.